Hi, this is Josh from Rupa Ayurveda, and I just wanted to make a short video to talk about the current astrological weather that we're going through right now and the phenomenon known as Sarpa dosha. And what this means essentially is that when the north node and south node of the moon, also known as Rahu and Ketu, hem the other planets into one side of the chart, they'll form this astrological phenomena. It's something that's often very feared amongst people. If you have it in your chart, it can sometimes be seen as a very bad sign. But this also happens to be more of a modern concept in Vedic astrology, and it's not something that was traditionally seen in the original scriptures. So this is more of a modern phenomena. Doesn't necessarily make it a untrue thing. In my experience, I've seen it play out quite a bit actually in people's charts and when these transits are happening as well in the larger scale world. So I wanted to talk about that particularly. So Sarpa dosha will often affect us more on a global scale than it will necessarily in our individual charts and the placements. So this particular Sarpa dosha started on January the 10th, which is today, and runs through March 28th when Mars will leave this conjunction. So what we'll often see during these times is going to be more confusion and chaos in the world. Rahu and Ketu are both planets that bring in unseen and unexpected elements of life. Sometimes it can cause great big positive changes, sometimes it can be negative changes. The only thing we can be sure of is that we're not going to be sure what's going to happen. So often during these time periods, much like during an eclipse, it's a good time to lay low, so to speak. It's often going to be something that we see impacting the world at large. We'll often see the political issues come up. We'll see rises and falls of different sorts of power structures that we're used to, and we'll see new things take their place. So this can also be a very positive time for change and action. As we've seen currently in the United States anyway, there's a lot going on, and we can probably expect to see some more of this happening in this next period of time. So once Mars leaves the Sarpa dosha, we'll see these tensions start to ease, and like I said, that will be March 28th. There are certain points during this time period where the moon leaves, the moon being a planet out by itself when the other planets are on one side of the dosha will also, though, still cause some confusion. The moon relates to our emotions and mind, and there'll be a lot of confusion during this time too. So it's not necessarily going to give us any major headway until we get to the end of March. So I always recommend during these time periods, if you are going to make some plans, it's best to be as logical as you can, be as slow in your planning as you can. This is a time where you may find yourself wanting to do something or travel or start a new project, and often what's best in those cases, if you feel yourself being pulled towards something, is to slow down and wait. So if you want to do something next week, wait a few weeks. If you feel like you need to do something today, wait till tomorrow. The best thing we can do during these time periods is just to give it some space to breathe and let it play out a little bit and see what's going to be good information and what's going to be misleading information. Rahu and Ketu can both cause our minds to move in directions that will feel very validating, and they'll feel very almost obsessive in a way, and often that can lead us into, I often compare it to like a hall and mirror effect. So you may go down this pathway that seems like the perfect thing to do and find yourself stuck in an illusion. As I said, best thing to do is just continue your spiritual practices, slow your roll, and wait this period out. I'm very curious to watch on the global scale, on the political scale here in the U.S. what happens. We have our inauguration in the U.S. coming up on the 20th. This will still be during Sarpa dosha, so we can definitely expect probably some more of the same that we've seen. There's a couple specific practices that I like to recommend to people during these time periods. They're very simple to do. One is a very common mantra that most people know, and it's Om Namah Shivaya. So chanting Om Namah Shivaya is a great mantra to help negate some of the effects of Rahu and Ketu during this time period. So it's a very easy one. You can find it all over the internet. There's plenty of great chants. I'm going to try to post a couple links to some YouTube channels of that. And one that's a little bit more complicated, but also quite easy, and once you practice it a few times, you'll get it, is the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra. And this is also a chant to Lord Shiva. And anytime Rahu is having a major effect on us, it's always good to reach to Lord Shiva. So I'll go ahead and do one round of this so that you can hear it, and I'll also post a YouTube link for this as well, so you can hear it from somebody who has much better enunciation than I do. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukαμeva Bandhanat Mrityo Mokshayam Amritat. Om. I hope that helps. Leave some comments if you have any questions. I do consultations. If you like, you can visit my website, which is rupaayurveda.com. And I hope this is helpful, and hope everybody takes care and is being safe. And may we all get through this together.